Thank you very much to you all. It's very important for me to be here today. I think that all that my colleague Christine has said is really important. We have a really terrible situation in Europe today because, as she said, human rights are not respected. We have the European Charter of Human Rights, which has the full value of a treaty and should be taken into account by all national governments while writing their laws. But in fact, it's obliterated today because fundamental human rights, such as human right to individual freedom, to employment, equality, education, health, free expression of thought, are seriously violated. And all over Europe, peaceful protests are violently repressed. So we had in Europe, the European Union and the European Parliament introduced a COVID certificate just to facilitate movement between member states and purpose any discrimination against not vaccinated people. But whereas the Italian government and other national governments in Europe have introduced a compulsory COVID certificate for every social activity, such as entering public premises or traveling inside the countries, or for, in Italy, just also employment, university education, and so on, they just make a big discrimination between vaccinated people and unvaccinated, because we have the introduction of an absolute presumption of infectivity for non-vaccinated people and of non-infectivity for vaccinated people that are both scientifically unfounded. And so we are forcing citizens to receive invasive and risky health treatment because the informed consent that citizens are obliged to sign to receive the vaccines is not free. It's a constrained consent. So even when people have medical contraindications for receiving vaccines, they are obliged to do that. They are forced to do it because they would lose the job, would lose their fundamental rights if they don't. And when these people have adverse effects, even very severe adverse effects, they don't receive any free assistance. Even the reports of adverse effects are very rare. So the data of adverse effects that we can read on papers are just underestimated. So we have a medical issue which has turned into a democratic issue. We must today, I think, all stand for the defense of human rights in Europe. And we must do it all together, and we must do it now. We can't wait any longer because a lot of people are suffering, are losing their jobs. A lot of families are losing their right to have money to live. And this involves not only national citizens, such as Italians or French people, but also foreign ones who work and live in other countries in the European Union, where the right of establishment for workers and the right of circulation is one of the founding rights of the European unity and the European Union. So I call for stopping violently repressing demonstrators, just listening to demands from people, and let's give back to people their right to live a full life with all the human rights without any more distinction between vaccinated and unvaccinated people. Let's treat everybody as human beings, as our Chart of Human Rights obliges us to do. Thank you.